Madison partners are announcing the return of the Dream Builder program. That's a business training course. The course is a hybrid online in-person program that will cost participants $120. It was put on pause in 2020 due to COVID. The Dream Builder program is possible because of a partnership between the Fort Madison partners and America's Small Business Development Center. Executive Director for the Fort Madison partners, Tim Gobble, says he hopes residents will take advantage of the course because he says building entrepreneurs builds a better community.
Biggest way to grow any community is through what I'm going to call the mom and pops, the smaller organizations. You're not going to land the big industries every day, but when you have the smaller entrepreneurs that want to invest not only in themselves but maybe 5 or 6 employees, being able to grow 5 or 6 of those actually does grow your community quicker than an industry does.
Gobble says the application deadline is tomorrow, January 13th. He's willing to accept applications until January 25th. And to find out where you can get those applications, just head to our website, WGEM.com.